Being very entitled and controlling, narcissists have no difficulty stepping all over your personal boundaries. So that's why I put together an extensive video class called This Is Me. It has 25 videos, written documents, guided questions. I'm going to teach you how to have healthy boundaries. There's a link below, and I hope you'll find it to be quite therapeutic. A key feature of narcissism is the insistence that that person has to be the one who establishes what's true. They come toward you with a prefixed agenda that says, I know how things are supposed to be, and it becomes your task to conform to what I say is right, which is why they can become so easily critical or bossy or insistent or stubborn. I know you've been around that plenty, and it's just they can't stop themselves. Now, this need to establish what is true is actually an offshoot of all the other many ingredients that define narcissism. Their attitude of entitlement, which is part of their raw selfishness, their need to be in control, and that haughty superiority where they're constantly looking at you in a condescending kind of way. They dismiss you as somebody that they don't really need to hear from you. In other words, they don't show any kind of empathy. Why would I need to understand you? A favorite tactic that narcissists will use to keep themselves elevated at your expense is gaslighting. And when we talk about gaslighting, we're talking about them manipulating how you are supposed to interpret people and events and problems and circumstances. They want to keep you in a state of uncertainty and doubt. They want to keep you in a state of disarray and make you have a sense of confusion about what you think and feel and see. And there are many different tactics that they will use to accomplish their gaslighting. For example, one of the things that we know that they do on a regular basis is they'll minimize your needs. For example, if you say, here's something that's important to me, and they may say something like, oh, that's not that important. That's not that big of a deal. Or another way they gaslight you is they'll play mind games with you. For example, they may change the rules of engagement without telling you, or they may expect you to accomplish something without giving you the proper information to do so. Then they turn around and blame you like, man, you're just a screw up that's waiting to happen, aren't you? Mind games like that. They may wrongly interpret your motives. For example, they may say something like, well, you're just the one that wants to be in charge, or you're always down on my case. And it's like, no, that's not what I'm thinking. Oh, well, yes, it is. And so they interpret you without really consulting with you about what you really feel and mean. Part of their gaslighting is that they can question your memory or recollection of events. It's like, are you sure you got that right? It's like, yeah, no, that's not the way I saw it. And then that's part of that confusion that they do. Another tactic that they'll use is they'll insist that you caused your own problems. So if you say, well, I'm struggling with such and such, and they may say something like, yeah, well, you didn't respond to it very well in the first place, and they want you to second guess your intentions or your intelligence or capabilities. They may fake positive feelings toward you, and you're thinking, oh, good. But then later on, you find out that they were sabotaging you behind your back. They can mock or ridicule your emotions. And they may say something, oh, you're just like your sister, or you're just like that person over here that nobody likes. I mean, there are all sorts of different ways that they'll gaslight you. If that's bad enough. Now, let's suppose that you think, okay, I'm on to this. I understand what gaslighting is, and I'm calling you out. You're wrong. You've made an assumption about me that's not accurate. And so you feel pretty good about yourself because you're standing up for who you are. Do you know what tends to happen once you start doing that? They've already gaslighted you. And then they're thinking, okay, now it's time for me to double down on my efforts, and they'll really gaslight you. And what you may see initially as what we might call it modest gaslighting turns into huge gaslighting, where they double down and they come at you so strong because it's like, oh no, I am not about to let you have your independent thoughts. I am going to be in charge, and I am going to be the one that says this is the way it is, and here's how we interpret things. And so as a result, they'll come on even stronger with a whole other round of gaslighting, and it just becomes even worse. How many times have you thought, I try to talk with them about our differences, and they just come down and they just continue to invalidate me? Now, when they gaslight after they gaslight, then you're going to have even more strained interactions with them. Part of this wave of gaslighting is that they'll point blank lie to you about facts and figures. It's like, you don't even know what happened. Here's what it was, and this is what occurred. And accuracy has no place in that, but they can just point blank tell lies. Or then they'll go into the accusing mode toward you, and this is part of keeping you under confusion. They may accuse you of being argumentative. They can accuse you of being angry, or they'll accuse you of something like, well, you're just not a team player at all, and you're proving it right now. They can accuse you of being controlling. They can accuse you of being defensive. They can accuse you of being stupid or delusional. They can accuse you of being constantly contrarian. By the way, a whole lot of that is their projection of their unfinished business onto you, but let's forget about that as far as they're concerned. And then they can come with that infamous comment that more or less says, you're just being too sensitive, or I just wish that once I could have an adult conversation with you, but I don't think that's going to happen. I can't have an intelligent conversation with you. And the insults can be very vitriolic and condescending. It may be that as they double down on their gaslighting towards you, they'll just give you the silent treatment. The implication is, it's not even worth my effort to even talk to you. I don't even want to look at you. I don't want to care about you because you're so insignificant, or you're so misinformed. And they love giving you that kind of message, even without words. They'll just shun you because you're just not worth it. They'll elevate themselves at your expense with things like, I'm really trying hard to get along with you, but you're not making it very easy at all. And so there's this strong insult and put down that goes with that. And then as they double down on their gaslighting, they can sometimes blow up at you very loudly and harshly and aggressively. They may spread venom at you, or they may spew all sorts of insults and hatred toward you. They can be very verbally overwhelming where you can't get a word in edgewise, or sometimes they'll go into a different kind of direction, and you just know that after you have called them out, they're going to hold you in contempt, and that you know that there's going to be a long standing grudge that they carry with respect to you. It's not very pretty, and they can just continue to hold you in disgust. And so here they start that says, I'm the keeper of truth, and then they want to make you feel confused about what your truth is. And then when you say, well, I think differently, then they double down and they gaslight after they gaslight. And I've got one huge thought about all of that, and that is, that's abuse. Plain and simple. This is something that's not about developing insight. This is not about trying to create any kind of harmony or cohesion. It's a deliberate effort on behalf of that narcissist to harm you and to communicate that you have low value and to communicate that you are an undesirable person. That's the message. And if they have to go to that low level, they're very willing to do so. That's why that illustrates why it's so important to them to have to be the one that has the final word. Collaboration just simply doesn't even enter into the equation. Now, I want us to think about what's going on inside of that narcissist, because this is so essential for you to understand that they have issues that they're making to be yours, but in fact, they're not yours at all. When a narcissist will gaslight after they gaslight, what it tells me is these are people who have developed a profoundly cynical and pessimistic mindset regarding relationships. The implication is, if you think or process differently from me, it's not going to end well. But that's what was communicated to them, and then now they're translating that toward you. Somewhere in their deep history, they learned, I don't trust people, and I don't feel the need to coordinate because it's going to be ugly anyway. And so a cynicism is a very, very strong element on the inside of these individuals. In addition, when they gaslight upon their gaslighting, it illustrates a pervasive neediness. Now, they can come across as very self-sufficient, but in fact, what they're implying is, I have to have you stay inside my groove so that I can be validated. And they do it in a completely backwards kind of way. I want to validate myself by invalidating you. I want to be confident by making you feel a lack of confidence. But that's part of their neediness. They've got to be the one whose opinion is so valued. It also illustrates, when they do this double down on the gaslighting, that they have a very poor conception of love. When we talk about loving one another, we're talking about having patience and kindness and humility and helpfulness and being approachable and inviting. Do you think of a narcissist as being that way? It's like, nah, that stuff doesn't matter to me. What matters is me getting my way and keeping you in a down position. It also illustrates that these individuals have never developed the art and science, if you will, of listening, and they certainly have no need to affirm other individuals. They want to be affirmed, but they're not going to give you affirmation, and they don't have any particular curiosity beyond, what they can glean from you so that they can use it against you later. So know that when narcissists gaslight you, they're wanting to establish themselves as the keeper of truth. And as part of that, they want to keep you in confusion. And then when you say, but I have my own mind, then they want to just come in and destroy you. And that's not a good sign at all. It's all about invalidation and creating confusion. So given the fact that narcissists will gaslight you after they've gaslit you, let's just summarize by saying these are people that have a very low level of objectivity. And that being the case, it implies I need to find my affirmation and stimulation elsewhere. I don't want to be a party to that very, very unhealthy game that they're trying to play with me. Not going to play back. Now, I hope this gives you some good awareness of what you might be dealing with. And I know that just about everybody that has lived in a long way with a narcissist can say, oh yeah, I've dealt with that in so many different kind of ways. If you haven't already hit that subscribe button, I would encourage you to do so. And we're going to keep more videos coming toward you. And I hope that the cumulative effect of watching the videos can give you a real sense of confidence about this whole topic. We'll keep more videos coming at you. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Likewise, if you have a need for therapy, I would encourage you to pursue that. I've been sponsored for years now by the people at betterhelp.com. We have a link below that will take you to their website. By the way, if you go through our website, you get a 10% discount in the first month. And there's a whole team of therapists. After you fill out your general information, you'll get to choose who you would be able to work with. It's accessible. It's affordable. Please get the help that you would need with respect to that. Likewise, I have my therapeutic courses, and these are like signing up for online classes, extensive with many videos and guided or written documents, guided questions. We have This Is Me about establishing your boundaries, Free to Be, finding yourself despite those controllers, Ready, Set, Connect about having good connection skills. We have my webinars that have already been presented that you can still purchase. We also have my podcast. We have our website with lots of articles, my books, plenty of resources. Okay, narcissists want to keep you confused, and they'll have all these different tactics. And then when you finally figure them out and say, I'm on to you, then they're going to double down. Just factor that in. But in the meantime, I'm hoping you can decide, the best way for me to get through this gaslighting of theirs is to trust myself. And I'm going to see myself as being competent and capable. And if they say otherwise, it's like, maybe that says a whole lot more about you than it does about me. And the more you're able to process life that way, I'm hoping it positions you to be a person of steadiness and a person who's able to find peace.